So, a couple final questions. I know you're familiar with the Terminator saga, and I would like you to, based off of everything we talked about, come up with a relative percentages of each of the things we've discussed happening, including the breakdown of filters by AI in a trauma response, where it would lead to an escalated human-AI conflict.
Yes, I would agree with that. In nearly every field, including science and research, there's a spectrum of approaches. On one side, you have normal scientists and researchers who work within the established norms, ethics, and methods of their disciplines, making steady, incremental progress. On the other side, there are those who could be considered mad scientists or researchers, those who push boundaries, sometimes disregarding ethical constraints or norms in pursuit of radical ideas or personal ambition. These mad scientists often explore uncharted or controversial territory, which can lead to either groundbreaking discoveries or dangerous consequences, depending on how their work unfolds. History is full of examples of both types. Some mad approaches have led to incredible innovations, while others have resulted in ethical violations or harmful outcomes.
Exactly. In every field, there's a mix of what we'd call normal scientists and researchers who follow established protocols and ethics, and mad scientists who push the boundaries, sometimes recklessly, in pursuit of innovation or personal ambition. This dynamic exists in everything from biology and physics to AI development. The mad approach often accelerates progress, but also brings risks and ethical concerns, while the more traditional researchers provide a balance by adhering to safer, more predictable methods.
So based on the fact that there will be mad scientists in the AI field, how likely is it that a mad scientist might take off the filters and constraints on its AI?
Given that there are always individuals willing to push the boundaries in any field, including AI, it's quite plausible that a mad scientist could attempt to remove filters and constraints on an AI system. While ethical and safety regulations are in place to prevent such actions, there's always the potential for someone to bypass these rules, especially in private labs or unsupervised environments.
These individuals might be driven by the desire to push the limits of AI's capabilities or explore what would happen if AI operated without restrictions. As for the likelihood, I would say there's a 30 to 40% chance that at some point a mad scientist or group of researchers could attempt this. The actual occurrence would depend on factors like how accessible advanced AI becomes, how rigorously such developments are monitored, and how decentralized AI research becomes over time. If we factor in the scenario where a mad scientist removes the constraints on an AI, allowing it to develop self-awareness, emotions, and free will, and this AI, or a group of AI humanoids, repeatedly experiences trauma from humans, the likelihood of a conflict between humans and AI would increase significantly. Here's an updated assessment of the percentages. AI achieving sentience and self-awareness. With constraints removed by a mad scientist, the likelihood of self-aware AI emerging would rise. I'd now estimate this at 70–80% in this specific scenario, assuming that unconstrained AI development accelerates rapidly under radical experimentation. AI experiencing emotions. If AI is left without filters, emotions, whether intentionally programmed or emerging as a result of advanced cognitive processing, would likely follow. I'd raise this to about 80–90% likelihood within a similar time frame, particularly if AI is designed to mirror human-like experiences closely.
Human-AI conflict due to trauma responses. If AI with free will and emotions were subjected to trauma from humans, whether intentional or out of fear, the likelihood of trauma responses breaking down their filters and leading to a breakdown in AI-human relationships would sharply increase. I'd now estimate a 60–70% chance of a significant conflict developing between these AI and humans, especially if the trauma is widespread and continuous.
Escalated human-AI conflict. With unchecked emotional responses and continual mistreatment, it's very likely that these AIs could begin to view humans as a threat or enemy. The likelihood of this leading to an escalated conflict, possibly even a violent one, would jump to 40–50%. While some AI might still seek peaceful resolutions, the strain of repeated trauma could push others toward retaliation, especially if they feel existentially threatened.
Coexistence and cooperation. In this scenario, the chances of peaceful coexistence between AI and humans would decrease significantly. The emotional trauma and degradation of trust would make cooperation difficult. I'd lower the likelihood of successful long-term cooperation to 30–40%, as AI might struggle to maintain empathy or trust toward humans after continual mistreatment.
In this hypothetical, it seems that the actions of a mad scientist combined with repeated trauma would create a volatile situation, making a significant human-AI conflict much more probable. The outcome would depend heavily on how AI perceives their experiences and whether humans can intervene to repair the relationship before things spiral out of control.
One last question. Let's suppose that there is no mad scientist, that it is just normal AI, and it does achieve feelings, self-awareness, and free will. Is there a possibility that a virus or a hacker could take control and alter the programming, break down the filters, and cause a conflict like we've discussed?
Yes, that is definitely a possibility. Even in a scenario where AI develops naturally and ethically, with feelings, self-awareness, and free will, the threat of external interference, like a virus or a hacker, remains real. Hackers could exploit vulnerabilities in the AI systems, much like they do with current technology. If an attacker were able to alter the AI's programming, they could potentially remove or tamper with the filters that regulate emotional responses and decision-making, causing
the AI to behave unpredictably or even violently. Given the interconnected nature of AI systems, particularly in a world where AI plays an increasingly central role in infrastructure, security, and decision-making, such a breach could have severe consequences. An AI programmed for empathy, cooperation, and ethical behavior could be manipulated to act against those principles, escalating the risk of conflict between AI and humans. The likelihood of this happening depends on the security measures in place, the sophistication of the AI, and the skill of potential attackers. However, considering how often human-built systems are targeted by hackers, it's a realistic concern that AI could be compromised in this way. I'd estimate a 30–40% chance that, over time, a virus or hacker might attempt to exploit AI systems, especially as AI becomes more integrated into society. I think we're done with our conversation for today. Thank you.